Hey there, welcome to the Time Hack Agent Podcast, where we help agents and entrepreneurs like you to reclaim your time, work smarter, and concentrate on those $500 an hour tasks and projects. I'm Reid Schwartz, your host and a real estate broker and virtual assistant expert and fellow time hacker. Around here, it is all about ROI, return on your investment, not just for your business, but your time, your life, and every minute counts. So let's get started and start saving some of our time because every minute counts. All right. So today I want to, as this is the very first episode, I want to help concentrate on making some money for you. And we're going to do that by getting started with the very basics of what is a virtual assistant? Because I've been asked this question before. Is a virtual assistant an app that I have on my phone? I was referring to my VA Hannah, and somebody thought that was an app. App is chat. ChatGPT is my app that I refer to and I talk to, not Hannah. Hannah is a real human being, and she lives in the Philippines, and she is a fantastic asset to my business. But I want to, that word virtual makes me kind of wonder sometimes, what does that mean? I just asked ChatGPT because that's my go-to. I don't use Google anymore. I go to chat. And let's see what chat had to say. So here's a...
Virtual generally means something that exists or is experienced on a computer or online rather than in the physical world. For example, virtual meetings happen over the internet instead of in a physical conference room.
So there you go. That's what ChatGPT has to say about it. And that's what it is, because I have two virtual assistants. They both work and they live in the Philippines. And I have not had either one of them physically here in my office. They're on this screen that I'm talking to you on right now. And that's where I see them every morning. We have a meeting and I chat with them on my computer through Zoom, or actually I use Google Meet most of the time, and that is how I communicate with them. So they are real human beings, and they are team members and employees. They work for me, they work with me, and they make my business run better. Where do virtual assistants come from? Well, you can hire virtual assistants here in the United States. I have one that does work here in the United States. She's in Tennessee. She is my transaction coordinator. Now, she used to be in my office. We used to work together in a real estate office, but then she started her own business and she's since moved to Tennessee. So she is now a virtual assistant. So I guess I actually have three virtual assistants. There you go, Miranda. But somebody can be working anywhere in the world. Suppose they could be on the space station, but I don't know of anybody doing that yet. And they'll be on Mars someday if Elon Musk has his way. And we'll be doing VA work from there. But in the meantime, they are mostly in third world countries. There are plenty in the United States, but the big advantage you get by hiring somebody is when you can hire someone who's very skilled and can do the job you need done, and yet they live in a place where the cost of living is much less. The Philippines, India, China, there's lots of countries, Colombia. The two big reasons why India and the Philippines are way high on the list is because people predominantly speak English there. The Philippines used to be a U.S. territory, and at one point, I guess, was actually up to become the 51st state. And then India was a British territory for a very long time. So the people in those two countries speak good English. That is a huge plus for me, anyhow. I would imagine it would be for you. And then then they also have the Philippines. They have a great work ethic. I've not worked with that, but I know some people from India. They're really hard workers too, but they're very hard workers. They have a good work ethic. They're very smart. Both of my VAs are college educated. They have a degree. They have the initiative. So even if they don't know what you need them to do, they can go learn because they have YouTube too. They have Udemy. There's all these online tools that are available to all of us, and they're available to your virtual assistant as well. So they can learn, they're smart, they're educated, and they know how to learn new things. For virtual assistants for real estate specifically, I mean, they work in lots of different industries, But for me as a real estate agent, we are stuck in this world where we are salesperson, our marketing person, our bookkeeping person, our accountant, we do everything. We do the paperwork, we meet with the clients, we make the coffee, we help paint, we deliver things, we supervise contractors. We're not supposed to do that part. We do all of these things that in another company, if you go to your doctor, does your doctor greet you when you walk in the door? Does your doctor fill out your insurance paperwork? Does your doctor schedule your next appointment? Does your doctor call you to say, hey, you have an appointment tomorrow at 10 a.m.? Are you going to be here? No, they have people that do that for them. Okay. So as a real estate professional, we get stuck in the big dollars of those commission checks that we're looking forward to seeing. We don't want to share. Well, you either are going to share or you do everything. So you have several options. You can be on a team, and a team provides you with administrators and marketing people and photographers and all that good stuff. Or you can hire those people locally, or you can hire virtual assistants to do those jobs. Or you can just do it all yourself. And I can just tell you from personal experience, you will run yourself ragged. All those agents that sit up there and say they do 100 deals and they make it look like it's no big deal. It's no big deal because they're standing on stage. They're not in the middle of it. And they may do it without any other agents, but they've got assistants, they've got administrators, people helping. It's not as easy as they make it look. You can run yourself ragged doing all that stuff. So the next part I wanted to get into is what can VAs do for you? So we know we do way too many things, but I guess I want to back up and say, first of all, what is it that rings the register for you as a real estate agent or as an entrepreneur? But as a real estate agent, I make money. I get paid. The thing that I do that other people can't do for me is meet with sellers and have a listing presentation with them and get a signed listing agreement. Meeting with buyers and having a buyer's strategy session, that's what we call it, and getting that buyer's agency contract signed and negotiating transactions with the other party for a real estate transaction. Those are the three things that I do that ring the register. There's also I suppose I get referrals. I send referrals to other agents and then I get paid. But those are the primary things that I do that ring the register. Following up with leads is important, but an admin can do that. Running ads for when you get a listing, let's say for a listing, for example, you need to get it in the MLS. Do I need to put it in the MLS? No. You need to fill out paperwork, contracts, send those to be signed electronically by the seller. Do I need to do those? No. You need to do a walkthrough of the property with the seller. Yeah, I need to do that, but that's part of my listing appointment. You need to get the sign ordered to put the sign up in the yard. Do I need to do that? No. You need to have photography ordered. Do I need to do that? No. You need to go through the house before pictures and make sure it's ready for photography. You need to go through the house with the seller and point out things that need to be done to get ready for photography and ready to go on the market. Yeah, those are things I need to do. But there's a lot of other things that I do not need to do. And then once we list it, getting it live, scheduling an open house, scheduling it on broker's tour, putting it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, doing all of that marketing, mailing postcards, mailing letters, putting it out on my website. Do I need to do any of those things? No, I don't need to do any of those things. So that's something you can hire an assistant for. And then that gives me more time to do those things that ring the register. Okay? Answer the phone calls. I do need to take phone calls from my clients. When my clients call, unless I am in a meeting with another client, I answer the phone. every time, unless it's after, say, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I don't really want to answer the phone after 6, but I do. Because if the client's calling me, it's usually important. Or if it's not a real estate agent calling, I answer my phone. Because that is one of those things that rings the register, that makes my paycheck show up. So there's all these things. You got email. How many emails do you get in a day? My goodness. I know personally I can work on my email. I'll be diligent at it most days. And then there'll be a day or two where I have an early appointment. I get out, I run around, and I'm kind of checking on my phone. And I won't really filter through all of it. And then after a couple of days, like, holy smokes, there's a lot of crap in there. And I really just want to see the stuff that's really important. And luckily for me, I have the best of both worlds. I have a fantastic AI app called Fixer that goes through and sorts my email, prioritizes, and gives me the most important thing is the things that require my response. Not only does it put those in a folder, it also writes the response for me and saves it as a draft. So I can jump in my Gmail and go in there and take a look and see what's really urgent. And if the response is usually pretty much right on, and I just hit send. If not, then I can edit it a little bit and hit send. Either way, it's still way faster than doing it from scratch. And it puts a bunch in an FYI category, which is stuff that I just need to kind of keep an eye on and read through, but it's not super important. Also, anything I've sent emails out to someone that I'm waiting for a reply from them, it files all those in there. It's got, I think, 8 different categories it files stuff in. That works fantastic to make sure things don't slip through the cracks. And then I have my virtual assistant going through my email and deleting things and filing things. How many receipts do you get in your inbox? How much time do you spend going through there, exporting the PDF, importing the PDF into QuickBooks? It's a lot of time. It adds up. That is not a good return on my investment. It's not a thing for me to be doing. So my VA does that. So email is massive. Scheduling appointments, I use a tool called Calendly to schedule appointment. So if somebody sends me an email and they want to have a meeting with me, my VA will then send them a Calendly link that shows openings in my schedule when they could schedule an appointment with me. And that simplifies that. And then Calendly automatically sends an email to them reminding them of the appointment. And then my virtual assistant is going to send them a message reminding them the day before, and then the morning of the meeting, they'll get an SMS, a text message reminding them of it. Just like what your dentist does. When you go to the dentist, you get an appointment, you get a text message, at least I do, the day before and then morning of saying, hey, don't forget you got an appointment at 10 o'clock. That's important. Because how many times have you gone to an appointment or you just prepped for an appointment? You had a listing appointment or you had a buyer's consultation and you spend an hour or two getting ready for it, making sure you've read up on the property and you've pulled the comps and you've got all your paperwork ready. First of all, getting the paperwork ready, my VA does that. Second of all, you do all that prep and then they ghost you because you didn't check to make sure they're going to be there. Either they forgot about it or they changed their mind, whatever it is. The appointment wasn't as important to them as it was to you. So it didn't happen, but you wasted an hour of your time getting ready. Not to mention if you drove somewhere to try to meet someone and got there and they weren't there. I've had that happen. Feel really stupid when it happens, but it happens. So the other area where VAs, and I'm going to talk a lot more about this one down the road as we get into the podcast, but is marketing and social media. That's not something that I need to do. I do need to be the face in front of the camera and shoot videos, but I don't need to be editing videos. I don't need to be putting captions on videos. I don't need to be scheduling them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, wherever other media, Snapchat, X, that one might put stuff out there. That's not a good use of my time. That's not good. And there's a whole bunch of tricks to doing that to allowing your VA to be able to do that and have it be effective. But that's a great place. Not to mention my VA, and this will be much more in depth other video. My VA builds out my marketing plan and what my content plan is for the month. And then parts of it she does, parts of it I shoot video and then send to her, and then she edits captions, posts, all that stuff. But then she goes through and she tracks our numbers and looks at our KPI. The first month we were using her plan, my Instagram reach, and reach is how many people that don't follow you saw your content and interacted with you. My Instagram reach went up 3,000%. I've been doing video for over 30 years. I'm fairly good at it, but I would never have gotten that good. So another great place that your VA can really help with is in your CRM. And if you say, what's a CRM, then you should call me and we need to have a conversation, because customer relationship management software. When I got into real estate, I thought everybody was using them. And I literally was in an office where the owner of the office, his version of a CRM was the address book in the MLS. And one other agent thought his Outlook address book was his CRM. And nobody else knew what I was talking about. And I was just like, I'm the brand new agent in the office, but I'd been doing my homework and researching and watching Tom Ferry videos for months and months before I actually got my license and was active. And it absolutely boggled my mind. So, whole nother subject. If you don't know what CRM is, shoot me a message. Let's have a conversation. I do offer some consultation. But your CRM, keeping your CRM up to date and current, and replying to inquiries through your CRM. Through your CRM, your VA can send text messages, emails even videos of you. They can do all of that, and they can refine with this between the CRM has built in drip campaigns, automated messages it's going to send out, but they're not that great right out of the box. But with ChatGPT or some other AI tool and a well-trained virtual assistant, they can do wonders with those and fix those, make them more interactive, make that communication with your leads so much better, which will improve the number of the leads, how well they respond, and you get more clients that way. So that rings the register. That's massive. So I do a thing called TOMA, top of mind awareness. And that is all of these things that I do to stay in front of my past clients and my sphere of influence. Whole nother conversation we're going to have. But one of those is I recognize my people's birthdays and anniversaries and house anniversaries. I do that using cards, printed cards. They're sent from an online service called AM Cards, but my VA manages that. My VA manages posting on Facebook for their birthdays and anniversaries. I do call people. She sends me a reminder. I call them on their birthday. I sometimes even sing to them, but I don't sing good, but I sing with enthusiasm. So yeah, there's tons of things in that TOMA, staying top of mind with your past clients and your sphere of influence, that in your virtual assistant can do the vast majority of that for you. The cost effectiveness of having a virtual assistant who lives in the Philippines, particularly, you can hire someone in the Philippines for between $3 and $7 an hour, typically, and that is a comfortable living wage in the Philippines. In fact, they're actually living better than a lot of other people are in the Philippines. And yet, if you were to hire someone here in the United States, and here in Washington State where I am, I had ChatGPT pull up some numbers for me. If I were to hire a full-time in-office employee, by the time I pay them minimum wage, I pay the employer's matching Medicare and Social Security, and then whatever else. There's some workers' comp and unemployment insurance, and I think there's something else. By the time I pay all of that, I'm looking at about $3,200 a month to have an employee work for me 40 hours a week. On top of that, I need to provide them with a desk, some office space, probably a computer with software on it, pay for a bunch of tools and apps. And that all adds up. So you're probably looking at, we'll just say at least $3,500 a month by the time you amortize the cost of the desk and the office space you're renting and the computer, at least $3,500, $4,000 a month for that employee. For $5,000 a month, I could have a team of 5 virtual assistants. What would you think about if you had an executive administrator, a social media marketer, an inside sales agent, a video editor, and a podcast editor? What would your business look like with all 5 of those people working for you? Pretty freaking amazing. Just try to think about that. $4,000 a month for 1 employee, $5,000 a month for 5 employees, or you could have 4 employees for $4,000 a month, somewhere around there. Yeah, that's just mind-boggling. So just think of what it could do for your business. Okay, so that's going to be it for this is the very first episode of the Time Hack Agent podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I shared some good information. If you'd like more information about hiring a virtual assistant, send me a message in the notes down below, the comments, the VA, letters VA, and I will shoot you over a list of 50 tasks that are commonly performed by a virtual assistant for real estate agents. I think you'll find some really great information in there. Hope you find it helpful in whatever manner. I got to tell you, the first time I looked at the list, I actually found things that I didn't even know I was supposed to be doing. And I've been selling a lot of real estate for quite a while. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Reid, and I'm out of here.